Although it's for the wrong reasons, Pablo Escobar is arguably one of the most successful people in the world. Through a clever understanding of the system and many connections, Escobar operated a business model way ahead of its time. In this video, we will check out the top facts about Pablo Escobar you did not know. 10. Rise to power. Escobar, the son of a farmer and a schoolteacher, began his life of crime while still a teenager. His first illegal scheme was selling fake diplomas. He then branched out into falsifying report cards before smuggling stereo equipment and stealing trombones. After that, he graduated to stealing cars, which led to his first arrest in 1974 at the age of 25. Shortly after that, he became an established drug smuggler, and by the late 70s, his crime gang evolved into the Medellin cartel. 9. Pablo Escobar's net worth reached $3 billion. At the peak of its stature, the Medellin cartel was reportedly raking in around $20 billion every year. In fact, the demand for cocaine in the US during Escobar's reign surpassed that of coffee. Due to this, Escobar's personal wealth grew exponentially, hitting a peak of $3 billion US. Escobar appeared on the original 1987 Forbes list of international billionaires and did so for the next 6 years. But this claim was disputed by his son, Sebastian Marroquin, in 2011. Forbes couldn't have, can't, and won't ever have access to or review the accounting books from mobsters so they can calculate their alleged fortunes. Not even close to the real figures. And not all mobsters keep accountability books. My father was one of those. Whether or not Pablo was a billionaire, the fact remains that he was very wealthy. Escobar's way of handling problems was plata o plomo, meaning silver, bribes, or lead, bullets. While he preferred the former, he had no qualms about the later option, earning a reputation for ruthlessness. He reportedly killed some 4,000 people, including numerous police officers and government officials. In 1989, the cartel was blamed for detonating a bomb on a plane that was carrying an alleged informant. Some 100 people died. With a lot of money comes a lot of rubber bands, according to Pablo's brother Roberto. He confirmed the myth that Escobar and his cronies spent $2,500 every month on rubber bands just to hold all of their drug money together. The amount we've spent on rubber bands to keep our legally earned money together? $0. Before proceeding further, please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification icon so you can get notified when we upload the next video. 8. He set out on a reign of terror after his political career failed. Escobar was elected to Congress of Colombia in 1982, but he was forced to resign 2 years later. The move ultimately proved to be a strategic error. It brought the formerly little-known Escobar into the public spotlight and encouraged journalists to investigate the source of his wealth. Pablo wasn't able to convince them that he had made his insane wealth through legitimate ways. Since the government didn't want a suspected criminal in Congress, they kicked him out. In revenge for his expulsion from Congress, Escobar ordered the assassination of the justice minister who exposed him. The government soon retaliated by ordering the arrest of Escobar's henchmen. This formed the beginning of an outright war between the state and the cartel. The result? About 4,000 people dead, including 3 Colombian presidential candidates, an attorney general, an estimated 200 judges, and 1,000 police personnel. 7. Pablo's biggest fear was extradition. Pablo Escobar's biggest fear was extradition to the United States. He once said that he'd rather have a grave in Colombia than a jail cell in the US. This fear is what motivated him to get elected in the first place, to see if he could bend the extradition laws from within. This plan obviously didn't work, so he turned to plan B. He took a second shot at it by attempting to strike an unbelievable deal with the Colombian authorities. He would personally pay off the Colombian national debt of $10 billion in cash in return for a change to the extradition laws. Needless to say, this was met by a firm no. 6. He was hailed as the modern-day Robin Hood. While US and Colombian officials have portrayed Escobar as a villain and terrorist who held the entire nation hostage, many poor Colombians admired him as a generous benefactor. He funded social programs and housing projects to benefit the poor, such as Barrio Pablo Escobar, a neighborhood he constructed in Medellin to house the poor living in the city slums. He was also a big soccer fan, and he built over 60 soccer fields for the youth. Thousands of people loved him. About 25,000 people, primarily Colombians who revered him for his philanthropy, attended his burial in Medellin. Perhaps hoping to win the support of everyday Colombians, Escobar became known for his philanthropic efforts, which led to the nickname Robin Hood. He built hospitals, stadiums, and housing for the poor. He even sponsored local soccer teams. 5. Several theories float around Escobar's death. It's popularly believed that he was gunned down by the Colombian police on December 2, 1993 on a rooftop of a hideout in Medellin. But accounts from rival drug dealers, gang members, and Escobar's own son indicate that those soldiers may not have been the ones responsible for the demise of the drug lord. The alternative storyline is that Escobar had gone down by his own weapon. Another theory is that former members of the Medellin cartel who, seeking vengeance, offered money to members of Escobar's crew, members of the police, or anyone else who was willing to take on the kingpin. Today, the confusion of the encounter has left the question of who fired the fatal shot open to speculation. The electronic surveillance team caught Pablo's cell phone call and tracked it to Medellin's middle-class neighborhood. As the agents raided the house, Escobar and his bodyguard tried to escape over the roofs. They were caught in a crossfire with the officer, so both ended up dead. However, Pablo was shot in the leg and chest, while it was never determined who fired the fatal gunshot through the air. Hence, there were rumors that the bullet to the head was an execution, yet some claim that Pablo committed suicide. Nevertheless, his death brought joy to some people, but Medellin's poor residents mourned him, as he was a hero to them. 4. Pablo Escobar had multiple nicknames. During his life, Pablo had many nicknames, including Don Pablo, El Doctor, the Doctor, El Magico, the Magician, El Padrino, the Godfather, El Patron, the Boss, El Señor, the Lord, and El Zar de la Cocaína, the Czar of Cocaine. That's a lot of nicknames for one man. 3. Escobar ran his drug empire operation like a Fortune 500 company. At one point, Pablo bought a Learjet to bring his cash back to Colombia. The private jet could carry almost $1 million on a single trip. Depending on the amount of cocaine a pilot smuggled, they could earn up to $500,000 a day. In addition, he bought an island on the way back so that his jet could refill during the stopover. Here, he set up a high-end drug smuggling facility complete with giant freezers to keep the cocaine fresh. He also had a well-organized communication strategy that surprisingly used homing pigeons. On multiple raids to his hideouts, police found volumes on how to take care of homing pigeons. The pigeons were used to deliver messages to various Escobar associates and members of the cartel. 2. The drug pin had a knack for cleanliness. In their book, Manhunters: How We Took Down Pablo Escobar, 2 former agents from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, share their incredible story from the time they hunted down Pablo. According to the 2 agents, Escobar had a thing for clean and well-proportioned bathrooms, and each time we raided a safe house that Escobar used, we always found a curiously sparkling bathroom with brand new fixtures. His bedroom and office were also surprisingly neat. 1. He was shot a day after his 44th birthday. It is believed that Escobar had a long conversation with his son than what he generally allowed himself to avoid being tracked. But this happened a day after his 44th birthday, and he wanted to talk a little bit more. This was his own undoing, and 10 minutes later, the DEA and the Colombian Special Forces were right on top of him. What was your favorite movie or TV show inspired by Escobar's life? Do let us know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed watching the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.